Well, hi folks, November 7th, a chilly morning on the island. Sun shining, but it's still cool. It's, trust everybody's fine. So, as they say, the craziness still continues. And I don't know how to say this politely, but I think if one has got information of all the shenanigans that are going on stateside with the voting procedures and the counting procedures, if one isn't alarmed, one's brain isn't functioning. It's pretty much that simple. It's really alarming. And I know if one just watches mainstream media, it doesn't matter which one, whether it's Fox, CBC, CTV, NBC, ABC, CNN, BBC, whatever. I mean, they apparently all seem to be in on this, along with the Three Stooges, Twitter, Facebook, and Google. It's sort of scary, really scary. But in the description end, I have several links that one can. And I know a lot of people say we don't have time to click on a link. Hopefully, they're live when you click on them. I'm noticing a lot of email that I get from different places. They're already sort of knocking it down, where you just can't access it. Whether their main websites or their links. There's a real press on to keep alternate information from getting out there. So, it's if one can pass this on, it would makes a lot of sense. Let people know what the hell's going on. Because I think the people that I know, if they see this side of it, at least it's going to get them thinking. Because they're not dumbasses. They would say, well, there is something here worth investigating. We should take a look at this. The computer voting fraud is just alarming, totally alarming. We're talking about the states right now, but just think in British Columbia, our election was held on October 24th. And of course, we had advanced polls. And then they also have this mail-in crap. They're still counting the mail-in. And they won't be finished. They hope to be finished this weekend. Now think about that. From the walk-in votes and the advance polling, see, there's no excuse to be late counting in advance. You got them in advance. What the hell's the matter? But from the walk-in and the advance, you already knew who had won the election. There's some seats in British Columbia that are sort of really close, and the mail-in could swing them around. But just think if the whole election was that close, and they're waiting to count mail-in votes 2 weeks down the road. It's stupid. This isn't 1820, it's 2020. We have got to get our shit together, I think. In the Western world, we have got to have fair elections with no perception of fraud and stupidity going on. I mean, that is so important. If people lose faith in elections, I mean, shit, we think that goes on in North Korea, China, Russia, South American banana republics. We don't expect that to be going on here, but obviously it is. And if you don't believe it is, check on some of those links. Just go taking a look at what's happening stateside. I see every mainstream media is not reporting this. They're not mentioning this. And if somebody gives a hint of that, they cut if they're interviewing somebody and they give this hint, they cut them off. And go into a spew of how it's conspiracy stuff. This is crazy. We're being hoodwinked. Especially our friends in the States. They're being really, really hoodwinked. And as they go, the Western world goes. So this is really, really alarming. It's, I don't know what more to say. Maybe that's why these elite bastards figure that the average person is too stupid to make decisions, so they've got to make it for us. And it's because of this that people don't really take a look at what's going on. And so let's say there isn't anything going on, but this big perception that it is, we have to look at that. And if there's nothing there, at least you looked at it. We looked at it and we found it to be okay. But folks, it just doesn't appear to be okay. CNN, there's a video on the first one. There's an article, but scroll down and there's a short video. Maybe you've already seen it. It's from CNN, where they have the actual feed from the counting, wherever the votes come in from. Then CNN has their ribbon at the bottom, showing the two candidates, total number of votes, and the percentages. So as they're talking, the one on top, the direct feed changes, and then it flashes off to a screen where you just see the talking heads, and everything else disappears. The screen comes back with the talking heads in the corner. You see the ribbon has changed on the bottom, matches the one on top. But this person stopped that video just as a flash to see the new coming in where the old screen is still there, the CNN ribbon. And the Democratic candidate went up 500 votes, and the Republican candidate lost 500 votes. Think about that. Now, that in itself, if that's all there is something that's totally alarming. Now, Dr. Shiva talked about this. I see on that clip they're talking about a computer glitch. Dr. Shiva said it's not a glitch, it's programmed in. You can change the algorithm of the counting of those ballots. You can take the percentage of that, raise one by a percentage and lower the other one by that percentage. You can manipulate how the machine is counting ballots. In one case, there were 6,000 ballots. A clerk noticed there was a discrepancy. 6,000 votes that should have gone to Trump went to Biden. And that was in one county. 47 counties are using that same software. Think about that. This is just crazy beyond belief. And for anyone who sort of is listening to this and is going to look at some of those links, and if you just go on and say, well, there's nothing really to this, your brain isn't functioning. It's that simple. I mean, as a people, we can't. If we allow something like that to happen, and don't say anything. We don't want to rock the boat, so we don't say anything. I mean, what's going to come down the pipe with these clowns is just totally more than alarming. But anyway, it's a weekend, so you have time to click on those links if you have a mind to. And remember, the neocons and the elite group of people who want to control the world. And if you don't believe that's happening, well, we should take another look at that. Agenda 21, International Monetary Fund, World Economic Council. Go to the websites, it's all there. They think the average person is too stupid to make a decision, so they have to make it for them. Think about that. I think we should take a look at this. And everybody for themselves start talking about it and researching and say, well, is this actually happening or is this smoke and mirrors? Maybe it is smoke and mirrors, but from the angle I'm looking at it, not just one person, and there's a lot of other people looking as well, but think about this now. They're cutting off communication between people who are thinking this way. One fellow's website with 600,000 followers on Facebook has been taken down. I mean, the fix is on, folks. And if we don't really stand up and say something, we're in deep doo-dah. We're in deep doo-dah. I also have a couple of links on the virus testing, on the Wuhan Waltz sort of pedometer there. And also on, there's a doctor. And who makes some amazing statements. And there's been other doctors like him. And it's interesting, you know, the doctors who do make that statement, they get personally destroyed right away. And I imagine this doctor is as well. If you sort of Google his name, you'll probably find all sorts of things. I haven't had time to do that. But he is saying what a lot of other doctors have, who have been sort of really put in their place, fired or whatever. Like he says, they swear an oath. There's an oath as they graduate from medical school, as they become doctors. And of course, people who are paying attention now, that oath is overridden by pharmaceutical companies who are throwing money around, just shoveling it off like pumpkins off the back of a truck at Halloween. But anyway, I find all this totally beyond interesting. It's like I say, it is alarming. I mean, our system cannot run this way. It's got to have more integrity than that. I mean, and we're not 1820, this is 2020, where communication is instant. We have to have better systems in place. And we have to hold people accountable who are fiddle-farting around with things like that. I mean, you cannot just say, oh, well, it was a glitch. Like hell, it's a glitch. Somebody is responsible for that. We have to hold them, people have to be held accountable for what they're doing. But anyway, take care, have a wild weekend in a positive sense, and we'll see you again.